Day. There's a hidden rule written deep within the story of life. A rule that every creature from the tiniest microbe to the mightiest predator eventually obeys, a rule that not even evolution can escape. Since the dawn of existence, more than 3.7 billion years ago, Earth has been home to an unfathomable number of living things. Some estimates say 5 billion species have existed here, crawling, swimming, soaring, or silently drifting through time. They evolved claws, fangs, venom, wings, shells, and intelligence. Each one designed to master the brutal game of survival. Yet almost every single one failed, because today, over 99.9% of all species that ever lived are gone, vanished, extinct. Their fossils lie scattered beneath our feet, silent witnesses to a number that life itself can seem to surpass. A magic number. A boundary where time simply stops for almost every species that dares to cross it. That number is 15 million years. Now, this doesn't mean that every creature hits 14.9 million and then suddenly blinks out of existence. It's subtler and crueler than that. When researchers studied the fossil record from ancient trilobites to Ice Age mammals, they noticed something disturbing. Across millions of years, across every habitat and continent, no group of animals, on average, survive longer than 15 million years as a single species. Mammals, in particular, have it worse. Their average lifespan as a species, barely 1 million years. If that number applies to us Homo sapiens, then the countdown has already begun, because humanity, as a species, has existed for about 300,000 years. Meaning if the pattern holds, we've got roughly 700,000 years left, maybe less. And this isn't just a statistical coincidence. It's as if life itself, the entire process of evolution, adaptation, and survival, was built to fail eventually. But why? Why does nature seem to pull the plug after 15 million years? What stops every creature from breaking that invisible barrier? To understand that, we have to go deeper beyond extinction events and meteors, because the truth is much closer and much more personal. So, why can't species last? Why is 15 million years the invisible ceiling of existence? The simple answer is brutal. Because life itself is designed to fail. The longer a species survives, the more ways the universe invents to erase it. From cosmic disasters to genetic betrayals, extinction isn't just an accident, it's the default setting, and the first way it happens is through something called co-extinction. Every living thing depends on something else. The hunter needs prey. The pollinator needs flowers. Even parasites need their hosts. And when one of these links breaks, the other follows. When humans wiped out the moa giant flightless bird from New Zealand, it was unjust the bird that disappeared. Its main predator, the host's eagle, followed shortly after. A killing machine so powerful it could take down prey 10 times its size. Gone forever. Not because it was weak, but because it specialized too well. Evolution had trapped it. It had become so perfect for one prey that when the moa vanished, so did its reason to exist. And this is the cruel joke of nature. Perfection is the first step toward extinction. That's the first rule of the game. No matter how strong, how smart, or how fast you are, if your survival depends too heavily on another, you've already lost. Today, scientists believe that up to 50% of endangered species are at risk of this very same fake co-extinction. When we remove one animal, we unknowingly sign the death certificate of several others. It's like pulling a single thread from a web and watching the whole structure collapse. But what if your downfall doesn't come from the outside world? What if it's hiding inside you? Every living creature carries within it a silent ticking bomb. Its own DNA genes, the blueprint of life, are both creators and destroyers. In small populations, genetic diversity starts to crumble. Each new generation becomes a copy of the last, until one mutation, one tiny error spreads like a virus through the bloodline. This is how even the most majestic species can end not in battle, but in slow, invisible decay. Take the woolly mammoth. After surviving countless ice ages, a small group of them escaped to a remote island called Wrangler, frozen refuge, where they hoped to start over. But isolation is death in disguise. Cut off from the rest of their kind, their gene pool shrank with every generation. Within a few thousand years, they were falling apart from the inside. thin, translucent fur that couldn't keep out the cold, deformed bones, infertility, sloot, even a loss of smell meaning they couldn't find food or mates. The mighty mammoth, once ruler of the Ice Age, died out not because the world killed it, but because its own genes did. And this is the second rule of extinction. Even perfection decays. Life is a race against your own biology and eventually, biology always wins. Now, imagine this. A species adapts perfectly to its environment. It thrives, multiplies, dominates. But that success becomes its prison. Because when you fit your surroundings too well, you lose the urge to move, to change, to evolve. Stop exploring. You stop adapting. Until one small shift, a drought, a flood, a cold winter turns your paradise into a coffin. Nature punishes stability. Because in a world that never stops changing, staying the same is suicide. By now, you're beginning to realize extinction isn't rare. It's built into the very code of existence. Life doesn't just live and die, replaces itself. Every victory, every adaptation, every dominant predator that ever ruled the world was simply a placeholder for the next. Even if a species survives nature's random chaos, the volcanoes, the droughts, the freezing nights, there's one thing it can never escape: life itself. Because sometimes, life doesn't just compete. It hunts, it infects, it replaces. And those are the rules of the next level, where every living thing becomes both the predator and the prey. If there's one enemy that no species can prepare for, it's the invisible one. It doesn't roar, it doesn't chase, it just spreads. From the smallest frog in the jungle to the largest whale in the ocean, disease has shaped evolution more than any weapon or tooth ever could. One microscopic fungus, Patrashushitrio, Dendrobachiges, you probably haven't heard of. It has wiped out over 90 species of amphibians across the planet. No meteor, no volcano, just a fungus. It crawled silently through rivers and rainforests, infecting skin, suffocating hearts, and turning entire species into ghosts. And that's the terrifying part. Extinction doesn't need an apocalypse. It can happen from a single cell, a mutation, a sneeze, the tiniest form of life, destroying the greatest. Since the beginning of time, every species has been locked in a never-ending arms race, predator versus prey. It's not cruelty, it's balance, but balance doesn't mean mercy. In the age of dinosaurs, entire species rose and fell under the shadow of apex predators, like the Tyrannosaurus rex and Spinosaurus. And yet, even those kings of terror lasted less than 2 million years as species. Because, when predators evolve, prey must evolve, too, and the cycle resets. Every new weapon in nature's arsenal demands a new defense. And when that defense doesn't come fast enough, extinction wins. Even today, this rule still applies. If wolves thrive, deer vanish. If lions hunt better, gazelles adapt faster. But the second one side slips even by a fraction, nature resets the board. Predation isn't about killing, it's about control. A brutal equilibrium that ensures no one ever wins for too long. But sometimes, a species doesn't die because it's weak. It dies because it meets something it was never meant to encounter. This is the curse of invasive species. From the dawn of time, whenever land bridges formed or continents collided, creatures crossed into new worlds and chaos followed. When North and South America connected during the Great American Interchange, predators from the north stormed southward: cats, bears, wolves, while strange southern beasts, like giant ground sloths and terror birds, tried to push north. It was nature's version of a war. And most didn't survive it. Entire bloodlines vanished. Ecosystems collapsed. Not because of a meteor or a volcano, but because of migration. Life, it turns out, is a game of constant change, and survival is a temporary prize. So if you found this journey into the rules of extinction as fascinating as I did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the stories of our world. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Did you know that 99% of all species that have ever lived on Earth are now extinct? For billions of years, life on this planet has been locked in a brutal cycle of creation and destruction. Today, we're repeating that history. Humans have accidentally turned the entire planet into a global experiment. Time, a new species enters an ecosystem where it doesn't belong. It brings war and scene, unstoppable and irreversible. there's a haunting truth behind all of this. In nature, nothing truly belongs anywhere forever. Environments change, predators shift, diseases evolve. And when they do, it doesn't matter if you're the strongest, the smartest, or the fastest. Sooner or later, something comes for you. That's why species rarely reach the mythical 15 million year mark. Because even if they escape nature's wrath, they can't escape life's own design. Every species on Earth is born with a ticking clock. You can't see it. You can't hear it, but it's there quietly counting down from creation to extinction. Because evolution isn't a gift, it's a deadline. When we think of evolution, we imagine progressed creatures getting smarter, stronger, faster. But the truth is much darker. Evolution doesn't care about perfection. It only cares about adaptation right here, right now. That means every creature alive today, including us, is perfectly evolved for this moment. But the moment the world changes, the clock resets. The same adaptation that once made a species powerful can become its curse. Evolution builds winners, but time turns them into victims. If extinction has a favorite target, it's specialists. Species that adapt asterisk to asterisk well to one environment often shine bright and vanish fast. Take the saber-toothed cat. It was built to hunt giant herbivores like mammoths. But when the Ice Age ended and its prey vanished, so did the cat. Its strength became its downfall. That's what evolution does. It rewards you for surviving the present, but it punishes you for being too good at it. Birth itself isn't stable. It shifts like a living thing. Over the last 500 million years, the planet has reset itself 5 times through mass extinctions, each one erasing more than half of all life. To the planet, extinction isn't tragedy, it's maintenance. It destroys to rebuild. It ends one story to start another. For 160 million years, dinosaurs ruled the Earth. Their reign makes human history look like a blink. And yet, they too fell to the clock. The meteor was just the trigger. The countdown had already begun. Because evolution isn't a ladder, it's a loop. You rise, you rule, you fall, and something smaller, stranger, more adaptable takes your place. When you zoom out far enough, you realize evolution only asks one question: can you change? Or everything that can't eventually disappears. The clock ticks for every living thing. Not the dinosaurs, not the mammoths, and not us. The clock is still ticking, but this time, we can hear it. Because for the first time, the countdown isn't being set by nature. It's being set by us. Extinction once came with thunder, meteors, volcanoes, fire. Now, it moves silently. Forests vanish, oceans grow warmer, and thousands of species are disappearing every single year. Not with a bang, but with silence. This is what scientists call the 6th mass extinction. And unlike the 5 before it, this one has a designer: us. In just a few centuries, we've become a geological force as powerful as volcanoes, as destructive as meteors. But here's the cruel irony. In trying to control the world, we've started dismantling the very system that allows us to exist. 66 million years ago, a rock from the heavens ended the age of dinosaurs. Now, it's a species from Earth itself that could end the age of mammals. Yet, if history teaches us anything, it's this: life always finds a way. Wells, when the dinosaurs fell, tiny mammals emerged from the shadows to become the rulers of tomorrow. Even now, as ecosystems tremble, evolution is quietly preparing new survivors for the world we're building. Maybe there'll be creatures that feed on plastic or breathe toxic air. Because when humanity's clock runs out, something else will rise. That's the unbroken law of evolution. Look around. From a distance, we look unstoppable. But so did the dinosaurs. Power has always been temporary. Dominance has always been borrowed. The question isn't asterisk, if asterisk our clock will stop. It's when, unlike the creatures before us, we can see the end coming. We can measure it, predict it, even slow it down if we choose to. We must accept a truth written into every fossil. We are not above nature. We are a chapter of it. And every chapter must close. When that moment comes, the Earth will remember us not for how we ruled it, but for what we left behind. Perhaps a new species will dig through our ruins someday and wonder what kind of gods we thought we were. And they, realize the same thing we should have known all along. Survival is not about strength or power, it's about balance. Because the clock of evolution never stops, it only resets. And every reset begins with the end of something once thought eternal. Thank you for watching. If this story made you think, consider subscribing for more journeys into the big questions of our world. Until next time.